Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Criterion of Action, Mizan al-Amal. And the very last thing, we were talking about a verse from the Quran and a verse of poetry that Imam Ghazali used. And the وفي الأرض آيات للموقنين وفي الأرض آيات للموقنين وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون. In the earth are signs for those who are certain, and in your souls will you not then see? And we try to speak about these signs. In the earth are signs, but of course, in every single creation there is a sign, whether it's in the flora and fauna, in the cosmos, everywhere you look, there is a sign, and that sign points to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why the verse of poetry that followed that says وَفِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ لَهُ شَاهِدٌ يدل على أنه واحد. And the truly in all things there is proof that Allah is one. A person who does not believe in Allah at all cannot be numbered. Now this is the next paragraph, or at least the different statement. So truly in all things there is proof that Allah is one. There's proof, there's a sign, there is almost like a witness, if you will, but pointing in the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Saeed Nursi, rahimahullah, who died in 1960, he saw himself following the footsteps of Imam Al-Ghazali, and he had something remarkable, almost the same as the context here indicates. Sayyid Nursi rahimahullah saw that on every single creation, in everything, there is what he called a divine, like there's the divine signature, if you will. And he used the Ottoman word طغرة, like the فرمان, this specific sign. And of course, this is وَاللَّهِ مَثَلْ أَعْلَى. If you look at any natural thing, you would know immediately, as is this the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We continue reading, which we have already read part of it. A person who does not believe in Allah at all cannot be numbered among the intelligent, and it would be useless to even dignify him with this discourse. A person who does not believe in Allah at all فليس من العقلاء ومن لم يؤمن بالله تعالى على الجملة فليس من العقلاء. عاقل عاقل. Maybe there is something else other than the notion of intelligence, because in محك النظر, Imam Al-Ghazali says that ولا يقال للكافر وإن كان فاضلا في جملة من علوم الطب والهندسة إنه عاقل، بل إما داهية وإما فاضل وإما كيس. So one can talk about a person with expertise, a non-Muslim, even if he has been excellent in medicine and engineering, that he is عاقل. So now again, فليس من العقلاء لا يقال إنه عاقل. So we can say that he is داهية, فاضل, كيس. You might say these words: smart, shrewd, but not عاقل. And a physician has brains, and plenty of brains. A biologist, like all those atheists, I've read somewhere about the high percentage of atheists amongst biologists, for example, nowadays in the West, like in the UK, for example. Are they experts? Yes. Do they have high IQ? If we, if we talk about, the curve, like the bell curve, definitely they have high IQ. Some of them might be even geniuses. But the issue is, are they sane? Are they reasonable? Are they rational? There's something missing. Like it's, you see, like a neuroscientist looking at the brain. The general narrative is that they have 100 billion neurons, and the way information moves from one neuron to the other, it's an amazing thing. And then they would say that there is no God. This is what Imam Al-Ghazali is saying, that وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى الْجُمْلَةِ فَلَيْسَ مِنَ الْعُقَلَاءِ. Then we talk about that they cannot be dignified. We mean to address these words to those who believe in a general sense. We invite them to study Allah's handiwork, that their certitude and faith might grow stronger, and that they might venerate and magnify Him, glorify Him even evermore. For if something cannot be perceived by the senses, but only by the intellect through the mediation of its traces, the only way to attain exhaustive knowledge of it is through an exhaustive study of its traces. Let us illustrate this with an example that anyone could understand. Every jurist knows that there are certain recognized scholars such as Abu Hanifa and Shafi'i. I would say this is a very small thing, and I'm smiling. The translator, Jazallah Khairan, changed the order of the names. So they are presented here in chronological order, because we know that Abu Hanifa rahimahullah came before Shafi'i. And in fact, it's Abu Hanifa, Malik, then Shafi'i, and we have Ahmad ibn Hanbal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless their souls, and all the Muslim scholars, students of knowledge, and those who love them, and the Ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, why I'm smiling? Because Imam Al-Ghazali in Ihya Ulumuddin also, because here in the Arabic text, it is مثل الشافعي وأبي حنيفة. It is Shafi'i first. So Imam Ghazali does not mention the names in chronological order. Same thing in Ihya Ulumuddin. He began with the Imam Shafi'i. I think it's a beautiful thing. Like he belongs to the Shafi'i school, and he wanted to simply recognize the scholar after whom this school is named again. So, such as Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa, we correct the order, to whom he owes a special degree of reverence because of their high rank. This is something that everyone participates in. However, the person who actually reads their works and beholds their marvelous craft and ingeniousness however, the person who actually reads their works and beholds their marvelous craft and ingeniousness will not retain the same level of veneration for them he had before. Rather, with each new discovery he makes of their marvelous qualities in their speech, writing, or poetry, his veneration and respect for them will only increase. Just so, the one who knows in general terms that Allah is the maker of the world is like the one who knows that Zayd enjoys a place of distinction because of a volume of poetry he composed or a book he authored. Yet how different it is for the one who actually reads that poetry and beholds its marvels, or the one who studies that book, being a person of virtue and sees its wonders for himself. Such a person believes in the author's greatness and high rank with belief that is firm. وأين هذا من اعتقاد من تصفح الشعر فرأى عجائبه وطلع تصنيفه وهو من أهل الفضل فرأى غرائبه. So it seems that Imam Ghazali is speaking about the same person, not two different persons. Such a person believes in the author's greatness and high rank with belief that is firm, based as it is on realization and insight. The belief of the other is common and weak. The belief of the other is common and weak, for it is not perceived with insight and realization. One would have to go back to the very beginning of the paragraph to see the other person at the very beginning of the paragraph. In this one matter, that is the difference between the level of the masses and the level of the folk of insight. The world and all the marvels it contains, is the authored work of Allah and His invention and craft, and the soul is but one volume of the book of the world, each of whose volumes are filled with wonders. The one who studies them will find that his faith continues to increase and strengthen. This is why Allah encourages contemplation of the soul and the horizons, and the dominion of heaven and earth. The dominion of heavens وملكوت السماوات والأرض. The relationship of knowledge to action and how it produces happiness. This is a matter of agreement among the truth-realizing Sufis, as well as some groups among the theoreticians, Nudhar. The effect of action is to dispel that which is undesirable, while seeking knowledge is to seek the attainment of that which is desirable. The dispelling of that which is undesirable is a requirement for freeing up space for that which is desirable. That which is required is that which is sought, and it is nobler than the requirement itself. For example, if a man wishes to have a child with a woman who is suffering from an ailment preventing her from being inseminated, he has two tasks. The first is to remove the ailment that is preventing conception by impeding insemination. And the second is to inseminate her once the impediment is removed. The first is a requirement for the second, a prerequisite, and the second is what is actually sought. Or suppose that a house is built for a king to live in. But first it becomes infested with apes and swine. The beauty and perfection of that house depends on two things. Firstly, the beasts that have invaded it must be removed. Second, the rightful owner must move into it. The text in Arabic that I have here, it says that this house that is built for a king, it has been also adorned with different decorations. وَزُيِّنَتْ بِأَنْوَاعِ الزِّينَةِ, so that in preparation for the king to live in this house. It has been infested. The apes and swines, they took over. Suppose again that a mirror becomes rusty, its clarity obscured by dirt, so that no image is visible in it. The perfection of the mirror lies in its ability to receive an image and display it back exactly as it is. Thus, the one who would restore its perfection has two tasks. The first is to clean and polish it, which means to remove the dirt that is undesirable. That is small, I would say, typo. Undesirable. Undesirable, it should not. That there should not be there. The second is to position it so that it can fulfill its purpose. Which is to reflect his image. The same is true of the human soul. It has the aptitude to become a mirror that faces the side of the truth in all things, so that this truth is reflected therein as if it were it, in a certain sense, although in another sense it is something else, just as with the image and the mirror. It is in the like of this that its perfection lies. This specific quality is what distinguishes it from the animals beneath it, for this aptitude is absent in all animals except the human being, both potentially and actually. Just as the aptitude for reflecting the image is absent in soil or wood. While the mirror possesses it. While the mirror possesses it. كمن سلب عن التراب والخشب الاستعداد لحكاية الصور، وأن يكون مرآة لها، وأن يكون التراب والخشب مرآة لها. So there is so reflecting the image is absent in soil or wood, meaning that the mirror cannot just simply continue on. The mirror cannot basically be so that the earth and wood cannot be the mirror for it, for the surah, for the image. It is present in actuality in the angels. And never leaves them. Just as it is present in pure water, which is naturally reflective in a specific way. It is present in the human being in potentiality, not actuality. If he struggles against his lower self, he will join the plane of the angels. But if he persists in the things that lead to the accumulation of dirt upon the mirror of the soul, by pursuing appetites, his heart will blacken and darkness will accumulate upon it. His heart will darken, it will blacken and will darken, and darkness will accumulate upon it, and his aptitude will be entirely nullified. وبطل بالكلية استعداده. And now, rather than the plane of the angels, he will join the plane of the beasts, and be deprived of his happiness and perfection forever, beyond all hope of recovery. As if Imam Al-Ghazali is indirectly reminding us of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which basically upon the heart to begin with is pure, but one might commit a sin, and a dot of darkness will be imprinted on this spiritual heart. And then again another dot, then again another dot, until the heart becomes completely darkened. At that moment, becomes very, very dark, blackened from sin. This is not about color. And it'll become at that moment like an upside down container glass. Which means that no matter how much water, for example, you put in such a glass, such a container of water, it will not retain it. At that moment, the heart will not recognize good, and will not deny, object to wrongdoing. The meaning of action, then, is to tame the appetites by directing the soul towards what is right for it, towards the higher plane, the plane of the divine. This will protect the soul from the foul dispositions and base attachments that tie it to the lower plane. This will protect the soul. Inshallah, it will ليمحي المحو is basically to delete, to wipe out. So these foul dispositions and base attachments will be wiped out. ليمحي عن النفس. Then this is why he says thereafter, when these attachments are dissolved, which is now good, or at least weakened, حتى إذا محت تلك العلائق أو ضعفت, the soul will be turned towards beholding the divine realities, and these noble matters will be poured upon it from Allah's side, as they are poured upon the saints, the prophets, and the righteous. This is apportioned in the same way as divine provision is, but if its principles are properly observed, the portion will increase, such as a hunter has a greater chance of catching his quarry if he properly employs the means at his disposal. The same goes for the pursuit of commercial profit or the pursuit of discernment of the soul. By engaging in struggle with a little capital, a person gifted with intelligence might surpass the level of the masters. One might even highlight بمزيد ذكاء فطري. That will be related to natural, innate intelligence. Thus, the purity of the soul from these attachments in the early stage of natural disposition is a matter of great disparity. This disparity exists in the struggle too, and this leads to unlimited variations of rank. The same is true of happiness of the hereafter. The gift of this aspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the soul is the ultimate goal, and it is none other than the soul's happiness after death. However, this is conditional on the removal of attachments and the erasure of the base qualities. So, immaha, going back, that will be also erasure of the base qualities that are imprinted more deeply upon the soul the more it pursues its appetites. Action then ultimately means the struggle against the soul by dispelling that which is undesirable. When compared to the pursuit of appetites, its superiority is obvious. When compared to the attainment of what is desirable, it is to it what the requirement is to the thing required, or what the servant is to the one served, or what the thing sought for the sake of another is to the thing sought for itself. The Prophet ﷺ indicated this when he said, faith is 70-something doors, the lowest of which is to clear harmful things from the path. This is narrated by Imam Muslim. This hadith also has another form, الإيمان بضع وسبعون شعبة. أعلاها لا إله إلا الله, the highest is bearing witness to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا إله إلا الله. وأدناها إماطة الأذى عن الطريق, and the lowest, again like here, is removing harmful things from the path of people. And it ends with والحياء شعبة من الإيمان, and shyness is a branch of faith. But it's the highest is a matter of pure belief, and the lowest is a practical thing, removing harmful things. Tying here the faith and practice. This is because struggling with acts of worship mostly a matter of clearing harmful things from the path. Someone might object that what the hadith refers to is clearing glass, bones, and stones of the thoroughfare, and that this is what most people would automatically envisage when hearing those words. Before continuing, removing obstacle could be simply removing or reducing red tape, for example, just as an example. Then we continue with Imam Al-Ghazali, yet someone else might counter that people have all sorts of differing levels when it comes to understanding the meaning of words, according to their differing ranks. Therefore, the Prophet ﷺ said, may Allah illuminate the one who hears my words and remembers them, then conveys them exactly as he hears them. For many a man carries knowledge he does not understand, and many a man carries knowledge to one who understands it better. نضر الله امرئا سمع مقالتي فوعاها ثم أداها كما سمعها فرب حامل فقه إلى غير فقيه ورب حامل فقه إلى من هو أفقه منه. Were it not that his words can have a meaning that is not obvious to all, but only to the person of deep understanding, he would not have issued this counsel. And upon my word, if there are several possible meanings, is the truth more likely to be on the side of the one who understands well, or the one who understands even better? Or on some other side, the truth will likely pass over the understanding of the masses and settle on the side of those who understand well, or even better. This is especially true when the wording of the hadith is not explicitly specific. Now, in this case, the word harm is general. الأذى إماطة الأذى عن الطريق. Harm is general. And so too is the word road. If he had meant their specific conventional meanings, he would have mentioned glass or mud and given specific examples. In any case, that outward meaning is also included in the general point, for by engaging in such work the person rectifies his soul and refines his character and wards off from himself the vices of heedlessness, cruelty, and callousness. We shall elaborate on this further when we come to the discussion of good and bad character, the very last paragraph in this section before we conclude for this session, inshallah. You know then that the happiness and perfection of the soul lies in its being imprinted with the realities of divine matters, and in uniting with them until they are almost identical. This is only possible if the soul is purified of base dispositions caused by appetite and irascibility. This is achieved through struggle and action. Action is for purification, and purification is a requirement for that perfection. Thus, the Prophet ﷺ said, the religion was built upon cleanliness. بني الدين على النظافة. This is, we have several versions of that address the notion of nadafa. Many have problems, but we have different traditions that the meaning is definitely sound, that religion and cleanliness, they go hand in hand. And the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they realized this. Let me begin by one of the companions. This is during the time of Umar al-Khattab, Allahu Alam, when he was Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of the faithful. He assigned a companion to one of the cities of Iraq, and when he went there as a governor, as we call it today, or if you want to say mayor, doesn't make much difference. He was appointed as a caretaker, as a ruler for that city. And when he addressed people, it was very, very short. He told them, I came to teach you your religion and to clean your courtyards. And this is amazing. وَأَنَظِّفُ أَفْنِيَتَكُمْ. So the traditions like تنظفوا بكل ما استطعتم, this is not sound. This is it's موضوع. فإن الله بنى الإسلام على النظافة ولا يدخل الجنة إلا كل نظيف. Of course, the Jannah is for the nadif, the pure, the tahir, but it's the hadith itself is not. It's not a hadith really. Or in الإسلام نظيف فتنظفوا فإن لا يدخل الجنة إلا نظيف. Again, it's a forged tradition. النظافة من الإيمان. The meaning is definitely sound, but the hadith itself has weakness in the chain of narrators. We do have, many traditions. For example, the in a hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, from the narration of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, he said that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم, said غسل يوم الجمعة واجب على كل محترم. It's a must to have a full shower on the day of on Fridays for anyone who reached puberty. But don't wait until Friday. I mean, let's put this way: if water is accessible and many people have it, I would say this is not a must, but I would say that it is highly recommended that start your day with a shower. If it is summertime, a shower in the morning and a shower in the afternoon or the evening. Okay, especially people who work, out in the and they exert real effort in building projects and mines, the hard industries, etc. And depends on what season, like in the summer in hot countries. So again, you end the day with you come back from work, first thing shower. And then we have the hadith about the siwak, cleanliness of the mouth. The Prophet ﷺ almost made it an obligation, but that would have been, he said it, ﷺ, he did not want to make it difficult for us, that every time we before every salah. And I would say that, please, the Prophet ﷺ said no garlic, no onion, and obviously it's about bad breath, and I think smoking is the same. It does stink, so it does stink. And there are many prophetic traditions about cleanliness, even if the one mentioned here in the text is problematic. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. Thus, inshallah, we have reached the end of this session until tomorrow, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.